Yo, what's up, YouTube? Thank you guys for checking out the channel, man. My name is Rudy, and my channel is Stay Busy Building. I focus on fabrication, mainly gate hinges, some plasma projects, and just some metal work itself. I'm basically self-taught welder here in the garage, so I'm no professional. So hopefully this helps you guys out. I'm doing a little video on some bullet hinges here that I made previously on a short that I did, but I've had a couple comments on that short saying that my hinges were upside down. Okay, they're saying the zerk fitting is supposed to be on the bottom side, which, hey, to each their own, right? As long as the gate works and swings as it should, opens freely, I don't think it's that much of a deal. For myself, I've been installing these hinges like this for every gate that I've been doing. So I've done some research because of those comments. Like I said, I'm no professional, so I looked upon it myself, and it does say that the zerk fitting is supposed to be on the top side. And the reason being, you got some extra hinges here. The reason being is if this is on the bottom, correct? If this piece is on the bottom and you're sliding this onto your gate, let's move this over here, got a little more space. So the reason being, if this is mounted to your post, right, the zerk fitting is on the bottom. Supposedly they say, okay, that you can get water and dirt in here and it would clog the zerk fitting. That's understandable, and I see why. But you can take these off. You can pull this off and I'm sure clean it out, do whatever you got to do. But the main thing is water is going to get in here. If it does get in there, it'll affect the grease inside the fitting. Not only that, if it dries up, it's going to create rust inside there. So for that reason, if it creates rust, of course it's going to bind up, right? It's not going to rotate as it should. It's going to get squeaky, and that's what the grease is for. Well, if the grease is able to stay in there, it's not gonna rust up. It's not gonna get any dirt or any debris. So that's why you install it this way with the pin on the post side. So this pin side will be welded to the post, and this side will be welded to the gate. Okay, so this basically, it slides right in, just as so, when you got it mounted to the post and to the gate. So this pin here will be mounted, let me say again, and this will be mounted to the door. So when you go to install the door, you just slide this right on. Okay, when the post is in the ground, this will get slid right on. So a couple guys are saying that it should be mounted this way with the zerk fitting on the bottom. Well, like I explained, water will get in there, any dirt, debris, whatever. Usually it fits pretty tight, so I don't see too much stuff getting inside of it, but it's possible, okay? If there's water that gets in there, seeps from moisture, just moisture alone that builds up, it can seize up the zerk fitting, and then it just makes it harder for the gate to rotate when you opening and closing, of course. So when you put it this way, because of gravity, of course, the grease will push into the zerk fitting, and then there will be no water that can go up into there. So it should never rust. If you keep this thing greased, because of the lubrication of the grease, it'll never rust. Right? That's the point of it. So for the guys that are saying it should be mounted upside down, that's the reason being. If you guys think otherwise, please drop a comment, man. Like I said, I'm basically a self-taught welder here in my garage, so I'm no professional. And any comments that would help me out with the work that I do is greatly appreciated. And if I don't believe it, I'm not gonna do it, right? So that's pretty much how this bullet hinge works. So in my other video I showed here, okay, I already got this one, I got it tacked on already. So basically you want a gap here so the door side doesn't bind up with the post hinge at the bottom side of the hinge. Same thing with this side. You need a gap here so when you're rotating the door, it doesn't bind up. Okay, so both sides, you want a gap on both sides. You want the pins to be as straight as possible. Okay, straight down the middle here, zerk fitting down the middle of your gap. Same thing with the top. Okay, I did the same thing here, zerk fitting right down the middle, the bottom here. So what I do as well, I get this. This is basically, this is another weld on hinge that I got. I use this for my gap. Okay, I use this and a separate plate. And a separate plate, I just shove that right in there and get my gap. That gives me about a 7/8 gap for my, for my door to swing. Give it enough clearance for when it opens and closes. I could be a little tighter, but I like that. So that's the way I do it. I'm gonna set my video down here. I'm gonna show you guys how this just slides on and off. Okay, so let's see. So this is basically how the post is supposed to work. Okay, it just slides. You're supposed, that way when the door is mounted, or the post is mounted into the ground at your job site, when you go to slide on the door, that's all you're gonna need to do. Okay, bam, that's it. Top and bottom slides right on. Got it off, just tractor. See, here we go. Top, bottom. Oh, sorry guys. Hard to do this with one hand. I don't really have a video set up to do this, but that's it. Here, I'm gonna put it on rotation so you guys can see the rotation as well. Let's see. You want to make sure this whole thing rotates freely. So we go all the way to the closed position. All the way open. Okay, and this is a pretty heavy tube, so it's a 4x4 11 gauge. So if there was any binding up, you would see it, and it wouldn't be so easy. So look how this thing just flows freely. That's how it's supposed to function. So once it has grease in there as well, it's going to work even better. But that's the whole point right there. And this setup, guys, is so you can remove the door if needed. So this one, you're gonna set them up in both the same direction, both top and bottom. When both top and bottom are the same direction, you're able to slide the door off. That's with the pins on the bottom. Okay. So the pins are mounted onto the post, and the zerk fitting side is mounted onto the door. And if you wanted to lock this in, say you wanted to add 3 hinges on this, okay, you're gonna flip one. You're gonna pretty much flip one hinge upside down. Okay, so now that you got this pin facing down, and you weld this on like that, that's gonna lock the door on. So you can do this either way, to be honest. And this way, yeah, since they say there's water going to get in there, but there's no other way to do it. If you want this door to be locked on and not removable, you're going to have to flip one of these hinges regardless. So if you weld this pin onto this side, now you can no longer, once this is welded to the door, you can no longer move this door up and down. And just remember, if you weld these on where the door is locked onto the post, that is exactly how you're going to transfer it to your job site. So just keep that in mind. If you weld all these hinges on, especially if you weld it on where the door is not removable, it's gonna be stuck to the post, and you're basically gonna have to transfer the post and the door together to the job site. Now, if you got a couple people or a piece of equipment, that might not be bad. But imagine trying to put this door in the ground with 3 feet of posts sticking down to bottom. These posts alone are heavy enough. So, and the door. So if you have a piece of equipment, great. If you don't, you might want to weld these hinges on at the job site. So hopefully this helps you guys. If you guys have any comments, man, please drop them down below. I hope this helps someone that's in the making of building one of these gates. And for the guys who left me previous comments saying that they were the wrong way, maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure if they build gates for a living or they've done it before, if there's reasoning behind, you know, these hinges being upside down in their comments, you know, please let me know. But that's the reason I do it this way. Like I said, if you want to lock it in, you can flip it upside down, but other than that, I put them right side up. If you're afraid someone's gonna steal your gate, yeah, you might want to lock it in. But other than that, these gates are heavy enough, they're hard to move. In your typical neighborhood or anywhere, I don't think anyone's gonna come lift a gate up off your post and run away with it, even though you would have to have it unlocked for them to do that, right? Because if it's locked into the post on the opposite side, you're not going to be able to pull the door off regardless. So hopefully that helps you guys. Please like, subscribe, and check out some more of my videos coming up here soon. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a beat on here for you guys, hopefully finish off the video with something nice. But let's go ahead and see how this looks. I'm gonna set you guys up over here because I'm gonna weld downhill. I don't know, I like pulling, so catch a video this way. Not too bad. Check it out, guys. Might be a little hot there, but that's it. Weld it up there, just like that. I'll go ahead and weld up the other sides there. And thank you guys for watching the video, man. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.